Hey Ash, curious, what is the funniest thing that has happened to you with your kids in real estate?
Personally, I was looking to purchase a home and we went to a showing and Dashel stole a dog toy from the house.
I remember that. He had that in his pocket.
He had it in his pocket! Having kids in real estate is absolutely insane, and really, we're just winging it.
There's no surprises, ever. No, there's all the surprises.
Yeah.
Motherhood edition on all the things with Ash and Bree.
Another episode with all the things with Ash and Bree. This time, what is it?
It has been a year, by the way.
It has?
Yep, it's been over a year.
Oh, well, we missed our celebration. That's okay.
It's okay. We don't have time to celebrate. There's too many other things going on.
This one is Motherhood edition.
Talking about real estate, being in real estate, running a business, and being a mom, because I don't think that we talk about it enough. We kind of just brush it over, both of us. And I think that it's important, especially for new people getting into the industry or other women already in the industry who are doing the same things that we're doing, to at least acknowledge the fact that, holy shit, this is really hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, well, you're right. We just kind of brush it on. We just,
because you
keep
have
going.
to, you have to do what you have to do
Yeah.
in order to be a mom, make the business run, close the business, all the things. And sometimes if I take a step back and I look at what my life actually looks like in the day-to-day, I'm like, damn, I did that. Or damn, I cannot believe I did that.
Wow, I got so much done today and got all the kids stuff done. Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like it's just whirlwind. So, well, how old were you when you got, how old were the kids when you got into real estate, I guess? Because
my
that
kids
also changes.
weren't even thought about when I got into real estate. I had just left Lopez Island. I came back here and I, in my head, was never having children. Period.
Getting into real estate.
Joke's on me, because I started real estate on October 1 of 2013, and January 7th of 2014, I found out I was pregnant. And so Oakley was an infant with me coming to my meetings. Luckily, I worked for a real estate company as an assistant, and they let me work from home with Oakley.
Oh, that's so nice.
But my only job when I worked for the real estate company was to dial. So I was making 100 phone calls with an infant every day.
Wow.
That was chaos. And then the twins came much later, but right when I went out on my own as a loan officer, but same thing, they came to work with me, and there's a photo of them sleeping under my receptionist's desk. And
they were so cute.
They were so cute. They're still
But
cute.
that's usually when people don't want to get into this industry, because they have like little ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard when you have little ones.
Yeah.
And you're trying to run around and do all things. So it's like, you have a teenager, they're fine. They can go home after school, do their homework. You'll be home after my showing or whatever. But when you have little ones that you can't do that with, and you have to take them with you or get a sitter, oh my gosh.
That's why I switched to the dark side, because I was carrying Oakley around. He was 6 months old when I went to mortgage. 6 months old. He was born in August. I switched over. I quit my real estate job on Christmas Eve and started my mortgage job on January 10th. And the reason I switched is because I couldn't personally see myself bringing my baby with me to showing appointments.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of friends that do it and absolutely crush it. That was just not for me, so mortgage it was. And when the twins were born, they went right under the desk. And when I had a client, it was literally pass a baby, pass a twin around the office, and everyone just held them, and you just do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I remember that. Pass the twins,
Yeah.
pass the babies. Just somebody hold one of the kids.
Who has Lila? Where's Dashel? Okay. And then Finley was so you got in a little bit later.
Yes, Finn was, well, technically, so I've been in real estate since 2015, and Finn was only about a year, and not even a full year yet when I got in, but I wasn't out selling yet, so that was different. He went to daycare full time, I was office, so that made it a little easier. But by the time I actually got my license, started selling, that was 2019, and Finn was, I can't even do math, 5.
5, yeah.
5. So it was much easier, but man, did he go on all the things with me. I mean, because
daycare Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but then, we work Saturday, Sunday as well. So it's like if your husband couldn't watch him, then you have to take him with you.
And most of the time it was awesome because of James's job. Like he was home on the weekends and is home on the weekends most of the time, so it's fine. Or my mom's always been really helpful. But there's just those times, and so yeah, I was like, okay, here's your tablet, and don't leave the car. And call me if there's emergency. And so his tablet has cellular, so he would be FaceTiming me from the car, and I'm in my showing, and I'm like, I answer, is this an emergency? No, but I'm curious how to get to this on my I'm like, oh my gosh, like, hang up, I'm like, I'm sorry, my child, I mean, he was older when I was doing this, not 5, but yeah, we've had many, or just, he knows how to show a house because he's been with me enough times at this point.
And like my kids know what a pre-approval is, and when they were little, those videos where you ask your kids, what do mommy and daddy do for work? Oakley used to say, mommy gives money to people for houses and toys. True, he's not wrong, but he definitely knows what it means.
Yeah.
I'm on the
Mine's
phone.
like I'm on my phone.
And I have this photo of Dashiell. He's looking out the window with me, and I was on the phone with Seth Parker at the time.
Oh my gosh, that takes me back.
We worked a lot together. We did a lot of deals together one year, and Dashiell's little nose was pressed up against the window, and he was like this, and I took a photo of him, and in the moment I'm like, oh my gosh, so funny, and then like when I look back at it, I'm like, oh, he just wanted his mom.
Right. And you're like,
so sad.
Go, shoot, I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where I feel like we all do that, and that's the part that we don't always talk about, that silent guilt that we have, sometimes where it's like, okay, I needed to do this, but also, sometimes they suffer, but it's also just work, and this is what we have to do. And I say I put my clients first, which I do, but of course, there's family time and there's things that need to happen with that too. So I've tried to, as the years have gone on, give that healthy balance and put up a few different boundaries here and there that I feel like are important.
I posted about this a lot, and I talk about it a lot because I read something one time that says we don't strive for balance, we strive for harmony. And I really liked that because some days I'm a really freaking good loan officer and I suck as a mom. And other days we crush it at motherhood, and then real estate just gets pushed at the wayside. Yeah. So I think there's always you're striving for this harmonious balance, I guess, but it's not achievable. Yeah. So I've just learned to give myself a lot of grace. But it is funny watching or having kids whose parents kids who are growing up with parents as real estate agents or in the real estate industry, because there's a picture of us all around the table working and the kids are sitting next to us eating, and they're all going crazy, and we're talking about business and growth and mindset and events and planning, and the kids it's just normal.
Just swirling around us, everything's fine. Yeah, and like you said, they know all the terminology, they know everything. Finn was like scrolling the MLS the other day, like, wow, this house is beautiful, look at the interior, and I'm just like, look at the view, Mom. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, well, I'm gonna start putting you to work here a little bit.
Little realtor in training.
Yeah.
Fun fact, you can hire your kids to work for you. You should be doing this and paying them through your LLC as a tax write-off. And then, even if they just go on camera and are on your Instagram, it counts as a write-off. So, I'm not a tax planner. Please do not quote me on that. There are things that you need to do if you want to talk to a CPA.
There are steps.
But my kids know that Mommy's recording a video, and they always want to know. Their newest thing is, how many views did that get, Mom?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, stop, Mom is not cool.
Yeah, you're like, pretend. I don't even want to know how many views it got. I know they walked in last night, and I was trying to do a voiceover, and I was like, stop.
Oh my God. Okay, the kids are one thing, but Scott Lake is another. I'm like, that was the perfect take, and he comes walking in the door, and I'm like, you just ruined it. What are you doing? The kids are also fascinated with how much homes cost. Mom, how much is this home? And we're driving through West Bremerton, and then, Mom, would you ever live in a house with that big chimney? And I'm like, sure, like that would be really cool. They just have so many questions. Oakley every morning recently has been asking me what I'm doing for the day.
What are you doing for the day? Oh, like,
yeah. And I can't just say, I said working, and he said, no, what are you doing? Like in your day-to-day, what are you doing today? And I said,
my gosh, that's so cute.
Yesterday I said I have a coffee appointment, and then I have a phone appointment, and that's really the only things on my calendar. And so he asked me yesterday if I did his Roblox for him. I said, no, buddy, Mommy was at work all day. He said, you only had a coffee appointment and a lunch appointment.
It's already started.
You have no, like, I'm working. That's the only things that were on my calendar. I was so productive yesterday, but...
Right? You're like, I do other things besides my appointments.
But to be fair, I feel like a lot of people don't truly understand what realtors and loan officers do as a whole, so it's kind of ridiculous to think that a 9-year-old would.
So differently, too, that like, there's no way that they're gonna know. And there's no set day-to-day for any of us. It changes constantly. So, but that's cute that he's getting all involved and wants to know.
I know. And then the other thing is that people are always like, how do you handle it? Yeah. And my answer lately is, I don't. I'm kind of winging it.
Well, and you have 3 of them. I know we've all said, like, I've said that many times, but I'm like, I have 1 and it's a lot. I seriously don't know how you do it with 3.
I believe that any amount of children is challenging, but I also have learned to get, like I said, give myself a lot of grace because, and I told you too, like your house is always pristine. Always. Super clean. Mine is not. And for me, cleaning the house, doing the laundry is not a priority. Probably, again, why I'm not married. Just kidding. But I know that my time with them is so limited because I am working so much and we have so many events after work and we have so much going on in our day-to-day that when I'm with them, I just really want to be present. So, for example, last night I picked them up from the Y. We go to the store so I can get Oakley his clothes for his trip, his spring break trip, and then we run to Defy, we jump for an hour, and then I picked up Wendy's on the way home. They ate Wendy's, I sat in the car and talked to a client, and then went in, and they finished their dinner, and then it was bedtime, and then I worked again, and that's just the way it goes. The house is a disaster.
Well, I can feel that, and some nights because I'm such a neurotic neat freak, I'm talking to a client while I'm doing the dishes and frantically running around the house doing laundry, putting Finn to bed, putting the clothes away, and sometimes I just like look over and I'm like,
hey, your husband?
I love you, but like, hey. But to be fair, he always like does dinner every night. I don't have to take care of dinner, he feeds me, so I'm like, okay, fine, like, you fed me, but now I'm like, I still have and it's because me and my neurotic self, like I have all these things to do, and then I have like all the work stuff I still have to do, because there's some days where if we're gone all day, then all that computer stuff has to happen at night, and so then I'm in front of my computer after dinner, because that's my goal too, is like, okay, at least if we're gonna sit down and have dinner, I want to be together and present. I'm trying to put my phone away. Trying not to, it's like, even if it's just the 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes, But now that Finn's 9 and I don't have any younger, just him, he will be like, okay, well now he knows after dinner this is my time to like go chill and hang out. And so he goes upstairs and does his own thing. So James and I have been finding that we do have more time to do whatever it is, whether it's work or house stuff or just hang out. And so I told him last night, I said, I finished my book, I finished all my shows. What am I gonna do with myself? Like, I need a hobby.
Yeah, well, and that was my next question. I do feel like it gets easier as they get older. Life is so much easier now. If you have a little one, it's just hard because they need you. Yeah. With the kids, like, I have a snack drawer in my house. Again, Scott reads the snack drawer more than my kids do. But the bottom drawer, putting all the snacks in there, and when they wake up in the morning, they know they're allowed to have one snack. They grab a snack out, and they're self-sufficient now. It's so much easier.
Yeah, it's so much easier. Even when they were littler, I feel like I tried to do things like that, to where if I'm on the phone, you know that you can go into the fridge, into the pantry, get whatever you need, and don't bug me for like, especially if it was like those days where all of a sudden they didn't have school one random day, and you're like, I have a full day, what do you mean you don't have school? And so just anything that made them as self-sufficient as possible so we could just work. But man, my assistant has a 1-year-old, and when she comes over and we try and work together, we get absolutely nothing done. And I'm just like,
how hard that stage is, and then you look at other people with little kids, and I don't remember doing that, and I don't know how I survived that, especially with 2. I feel like I blacked out that entire time, and I wasn't drinking. I just don't know what happened.
I know. Sometimes she'll like ask for advice, and I'm like, I honestly don't remember. Like, I think I also blacked out that time, because it's like
you black it out so you'll have more. But Brianna's smarter than I was.
I'm like, they don't stop, and I'm just like, I mean, if I ever was thinking about it, this is a good reminder. Like, I can't handle this. Like, I just, nope. They move too much. They're not at that age where you're like, oh, they'll be fine if they go over there for a minute. No, you have to follow them. Anyways, it was exhausting. I'm like, I understand why you're exhausted.
Well, and I always felt like when I came to the office, it was my oasis. I could come into the office and take a deep breath from the chaos of the morning, and I still feel that way. If I have free time, my go-to is always, oh, you can just go to work. You can just go to the office. It's cleaner.
But then COVID happened, and we couldn't go to the office. Oh my God.
Talk about kids popping up on Zoom calls. I had twins who were 2 during COVID. They're just right here on me during the Zoom call, and we had a live-in nanny at the time, and that's the other thing. Childcare is so expensive.
It's so expensive.
I calculated it, the amount of money I spent on childcare. I will not say the number out loud because it makes me want to throw up, but it's super hard when you're running a business because it's chicken before the egg, right?
Yeah.
Do you pay for childcare so you can have more time so you can get more business? Like, you have to do that, but you don't have any money because you just started the business.
Yeah.
So what do? And the answer is always, and I will stand by this until the day I die, ask for help.
Yeah.
And I was so bad at it. I'm still bad
You're
at it.
Terrible about that.
I know.
Thankfully, I have family in the area, so they just come help without me always having to ask. But I'm like, I'm going to come take your children and
well, and even the other day, I had a client coming in here. I ran to pick him up from the bus because someone only picks him up for Monday and Wednesday. And I ran back here, and you were like, why didn't you just ask me to get them from the bus? Or why didn't they just ride the bus home? And I don't even think about that in the moment. I think when you're a mom and you have a million things on your plate and you're trying to actively be active in your business, you're just go mode. Yeah. I have to do this. I have to get this. Finn has tutoring. Oakley has basketball practice, and you just go. One thing I will say is that non-negotiables for me are their sporting events.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, and I think that our schedule allows us for that to be non-negotiable. Like there's so many ways.
On the flip side, yes, we have flexibility, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Ish.
Do we? That's another ish.
Ish. Yes.
We're pretty flexible to our client's schedule.
So it's in all of that chaos. It is very rare that we have a moment to ourselves. You just said you don't have any hobbies, so what do you do when you don't have something on the calendar? When there's a blank spot on the calendar and you don't have a husband and you don't have your kids, what do you do? Kid, what do you do? Or my kids?
Depends on the weather.
Okay.
In the sunshine, I'm sitting outside, probably reading a book, doing something.
So nice out there.
I guess I'm not totally finished with it. I'm almost finished with my book of like a 26 book series. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. So you guys, I need good book recommendations, good show recommendations. Drop them in the comments for me, please. I just like post up and read, or I clean my house more because they're not there. I can do more. I don't know.
Yeah, we need to get Brianna a hobby. Please drop comments for what Brianna. And to be fair, I'm giving you so much shit right now, but I don't have a hobby either.
I know. Well, and like, I really need to start working out again. But again, I always feel like this at this time of the year where I'm like, oh, I feel like all I do is there's nothing to go do. But then the minute it gets nice, it's like, oh, I have all the hobbies. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to go paddleboarding. I'm going to go for a walk. Like, we've been doing that a lot right now just because the weather's still...
Yeah.
And so plenty of outdoor activities, to come. And then, like yard work when it's nice, it's...
I freeze.
Everything's boring. My God, I'm so boring.
I freeze when I have a moment that's blank on the calendar. And you think after 11 years you'd get used to how hard you have to go during the day, because I've always treated this job like a 9 to 5. My kids have childcare because we're lucky enough that we can. But when there's a moment, I just get overwhelmed with the possibilities. And my first thing is, am I going to tell my friends I have free time? Like, am I calling
Sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. I'm like, it's okay.
And sometimes I do want to have a girls' night. And sometimes I don't want to hang out with anyone because I'm exhausted and I've been talking to people all day or all week or all month, and I just want to sit there and zone. But the panic is real because I don't know what I want to do in that moment.
Right.
The last time I had free time, I think I told you, I went to the bookstore for 2 hours. Scott was gone and I didn't have my kids. I went there, and have you been to a bookstore by yourself? It's like...
No.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. 2 hours, then I popped over to Silver City and I read my book. But the craziest part about it was I felt so much guilt for not doing laundry, for not going to the office and making my calls. So for me, I really, really struggle with that.
Yeah, it's really hard. I have a lot of that guilt too, because I just have always been like, there's something I can't be doing. I think, you know, it just depends on how you're raised.
This is honestly the longest I've ever seen you sit still. It's when we go live for 15
really,
minutes.
Like, yeah, if you guys know me, it's very hard.
She's ready to get up and clean my office right now, honestly.
Well, I mean, yes, we are at Ashley's office now, new location, like she said, and yeah, we had to do a little bit of setup to, you know, make this work today. A little bit of cleaning.
One thing I will say is that when I get in my feels about not being super present with the kids or working more than I should be, is that I know that I'm teaching them, especially my daughter, that you can have it all. You can be a really good mom and have a career and run a business. That's possible. And I think that when we were growing up, I didn't have that example. My mom worked full time, but she wasn't running a business. And it's breaking barriers that were never broken before. And I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, for sure. And on the flip side, my mom was always there and present as a mom, but she didn't get a chance to go do what she wanted to do for her career, you know, I feel like. And so, yeah, it's hard. And so same thing, being able to, I want to be able to show Finn that same thing where we're working hard and we're still like, you know, getting to do the things we want, and this is a payoff and the reward
but
for it.
But you get to do those things because of that.
Yeah, and sometimes because they're spoiled brats, we have to remind them of that, of like, okay, well, money does not grow on trees, and you know, this costs us money.
I said, what do you want to do for your birthday? He said, go to Mexico, and I went, excuse me? Like, no, sit down.
He's like, Mom, these shoes are trash. Can you just buy me another one, and I'll probably just trash them again in 2 weeks.
He literally said that at your house in your backyard yesterday.
You're going to be working off those shoes.
And I did go buy him a new pair of shoes, and then he came home.
And then if he trashes them in 2 weeks, be like, well, I guess you're going to have to buy your next pair.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle when you want to give your kids the world, but you also want them to have a work ethic. It's really hard.
Which is, don't even get me started on.
And when he came home and asked me for money for his grades, I didn't have words. I
got money for good grades. You didn't get money for good grades?
No, it was.
Who gave him that idea?
I don't know, but it was someone at school. Apparently, it was a standard in my house. If I didn't get A's, I was in trouble.
Oh man.
I grew up like very corporal punishment, even though. Or Scott said I said that wrong. Scratch that. Reverse it. I don't know what I was saying, but I grew up very, I guess, militant. Like if I got in trouble, I had to go run laps. I specifically remember one time playing basketball and I had been sassy to my parents that week, and they put a trash can in the middle of the basketball court and said, you're gonna run lines until you get sick.
Oh my gosh.
Which is crazy. It's crazy. So crazy. That's crazy. That's not a thing that we could do now.
No, my parents were not that creative. They're just like, you're grounded. And I'm like, so boring.
You were also way worse as a kid than I was. I often think what our kids are gonna be.
Oh, I know. Already.
Yeah.
Finn and Oakley, we'll see. We'll see what trouble they get themselves into.
Anyways, at the end of the day, when people ask what it's like, it's winging it. We're winging it at motherhood, we're winging it in life, really, and I think we just do the best we can. So if you're in that season or you're going through it, know that you're not alone.
Oh my gosh, so
Find friends.
And that's why we have our fire tables, which...
Oh, I guess that's a hobby.
Does that count? The nice weather is coming up. All the girls out there.
If you've never been to Fire Table Night at Breeze, just show up on any given Friday or Saturday during the summer. An open invite to your house. Sorry.
No
but there will be a group of girls, probably in real estate or close to us, and we'll all just be back there sitting.
Doing exactly what we just did now. Like, talking about work, talking about being moms, you know. The goods, the bads, all the fun, you know? And it doesn't leave Fire Table.
No. The thing about Fire Table is what happens there. Speaking of, we're going to finish this up, but Bree and I accidentally planned. James and Scott are so mad at us.
Oh, yeah.
So Bree's anniversary is the day before my birthday.
Yes, day before.
And
we got married before we were friends, so would have never known that.
Yeah, so every year I feel that you choose me over your anniversary, or we're just going on a trip because, and then it works out that it's my birthday and your anniversary. And this year we accidentally planned a trip completely separately to the same destination, and Scott and James do not believe it was an accident. And it 100% was. We have no dinners planned together. We're not staying at the same hotel. It was 100% not planned.
So funny.
But if I happen to see you at the pool
while the guys are gambling, it's not gonna be a bad thing.
Was not planned.
It really wasn't. Oh my god, it's so funny. Well, because it was our 10 years, I was like, okay, like we're gonna do something. It was our 10 year, like just him and I, and then he kept saying Vegas, and I was so shocked.
Usually we do, well, for a long time when real estate was good, we were, going, not that it's not good right now, when it was the height of the market, we had the opportunity to go on more vacations, and this is literally just a quick weekend. Yeah. Because I don't want to miss work.
Yeah,
and
me neither. I don't have time to miss work either. So yeah, it's just, we were like, okay, yep, we'll just run down, fine, like we'll just go to Vegas, like kind of been there, done that, but that's okay, and then you and I were talking, and I'm like, you're like, oh, just wanted you to let you know, and I'm like,
we have to celebrate my birthday the week before because
I'm like, Ashley, I'm also going to Vegas that weekend.
Oh man.
It's fine. It'll be great.
We're super organized over here. It's totally fine. But
some days better than others.
Mortgage, motherhood, real estate. I started a whole podcast about this actually, and I haven't been doing it, so go listen to Mortgage and Motherhood. I will drop it in the comments.
Will you?
Brianna said she said, you actually have to put things in the comments that you say you're gonna do, and I was like,
yeah, see, I'm the organizer.
She's not wrong, so I will be doing that moving forward. But if you want to hang out, if you want to grab coffee, if you want to talk about business, motherhood, real estate, we're down. We're down.
Thank you for watching All the Things with Ash and Bree. Life, motherhood, real estate. Don't forget to like and subscribe.